Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Hockey. And it's an episode that is quickly changing as the news keeps on breaking every 5 seconds is what it feels like. I, of course, am your host, Marc Williams. Once again, everybody, thank you for the last 3 years. We're doing our annual viewer appreciation show tonight. There's my banner. And, of course, the man who texted me the information, breaking the news about Alexis Lafreniere re-signing with the New York Rangers, Mr. John Volkowski.
Big day for the New York Rangers and Toronto Maple Leafs, but just wanted to send my condolences and just remember Terry Funk, the hardcore legend. Any wrestling fan knows Terry Funk. Even if you not even a big wrestling fan, you've probably seen him in Roadhouse. He was one of Brad Wesley's guys in Roadhouse. Just a very influential wrestler, one of the greatest of all time. Sad day, huge loss for the wrestling world. We miss you, Terry, and thank you for everything you gave us over a career of 6 decades. Just incredible. Truly one of the greats.
Yeah, John D. Lee just texted me about that before. And, of course, the man who was looking to see whether or not he might have an 88 jersey available, Mr. Anthony Larocco.
If I have a what jersey available?
88. Patrick Kane was rumored. That's also part of the.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't put it together. I didn't put it together at first.
I mean, you only wrote the article.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, some news coming down today. You know, training camp's less than a month away. So hockey season's slowly approaching, and I'm excited for it. So let's get it going here.
Yeah, there was a tweet I think put out by the NHL last night that a month from yesterday is spring training, or sorry, the preseason games are opening up. So it's even less than that. We're gonna have rookie camps coming up before we even know it. Maybe even some rookie games that you will be able to watch on YouTube. And then the next thing you know, training camps, and then everything else that's going on. So that's why going to the A block right now, that we've got a lot to talk about, not just with the New York Rangers. Everybody, make sure you're hitting that like button, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Something I do not say enough as a YouTuber, but we got a lot of news to break down that goes with Elias Pettersson and oh yeah, well, Rangers Central, that's Core's new name. Also check him out. This is also our subscriber appreciation show. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff today. So everybody just keep watching. And the A block is powered by SeatGeek. Use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. Let's get down to business right away, guys. Auston Matthews, $13.25 million extension.
Mustache man.
4 years. Yeah, the mustache man staying in Toronto. Phil, let's jump right into this. What's your thoughts on this extension?
Pretty much what's expected. I mean, I don't like the years for Toronto because, I mean, you'd want to lock him up obviously for longer, but I mean, a $13.25 million AAV seems about what they were going to do. It's kind of like how in football the next quarterback gets the highest AAV in terms of contract. And then, you know, Auston Matthews comes in. He's a one-time Hart Trophy winner, Rocket Bouchard winner, scored 60 goals in a season. He's one of, I would say, the 5 best players in the NHL, regardless of position right now. So, I mean, he's deserving of the AAV. It'll be interesting to see what Connor McDavid now gets on his next contract, considering that Matthews was the first to break 13. But, yeah, Auston Matthews definitely deserves this. I don't think there's a shadow of a doubt as to whether or not he deserves that AAV, that figure. I know people are going to say, oh, well, McDavid only got 12.5. Well, McDavid got 12.5 a few years back now. I mean, that contract was signed 5 years ago or something. I think it was 2018 when that contract was signed. And I mean, it's long overdue for Matthews. I'm surprised that it got to this point. I figured that Toronto would do everything they could to not even get to this point in time with it and having to go to this type of contract. But here we are. But Toronto, he's not leaving anytime soon. we'll have to revisit this in another 3 years and see where he's at that point and see whether or not he wants to stay in Toronto, provided what happens with everything there. But Toronto got their man. They got their man back, and now they can look forward to building around everybody else. Now it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with William Nylander, because William Nylander was looking to see if anyone was going to take anything less to stay in Toronto. And there you go. That was your next segment. I didn't even know it. So what does it mean for William Nylander? Well, I've already started explaining it. William Nylander's comments were that he wanted to see if anybody was going to take any less to make this whole thing work in Toronto. And it doesn't appear that Auston Matthews did. So I'd imagine that William Nylander's contract talks are going to be pretty tough for Toronto.
Anthony, start with Matthews.
Yeah, not a shock about what the AAV was. I'm not shocked about the term either, because there were kind of whispers that Matthews wasn't going to sign a long-term deal, like 7-8 years. He wanted to go shorter term. For me, I don't want not to look too far ahead, but as a Maple Leaf fan, I mean, you're pumped right now that Matthews re-signed, but then also you have it in your head like, well, how come he didn't sign for 8 years like everybody else does? Sebastian Aho re-signed 8 years. Elias Sorokin re-signed 8 years. A lot of these guys that re-up with their teams to make 8-year commitments. Auston Matthews did not do that. And there was a tweet actually right after he signed. I don't know who it was, but it said that Auston Matthews is going to make $113 million career earnings by the time he's 31 years old. And that's disgusting, because when his contract expires and he's 31, he's going to be set up to sign another, depending on how he's playing at that point, another 6-year deal and another crazy high AAV. So, this deal right here leaves Matthews with the flexibility of where he could still earn another large payday, possibly with a team outside of the Canadian market. But for now, the Maple Leafs kept an elite player in the league. They paid handsomely to do it, but that's what it was going to take. So good for the Maple Leafs, and good on Auston Matthews for really controlling his future here with this deal. As for William Nylander, as Phil touched on about Nylander, was kind of looking or said he wasn't going to take a discount if nobody else did. And then today, and Marc, as I mentioned to you before he went on air, before Phil got on, but I saw on Twitter that Elliot Friedman, I guess, is overseas right now, and he sat down with a bunch of European players, Barkov, Stützle, and William Nylander was one of them. And Nylander was quoted as saying that he's not sure why everyone's making such a big deal about his contract. They have a year to figure it out, and that he loves Toronto. And while that may be true about loving Toronto, I don't know if Toronto can realistically keep him, because let's face it, he saw what Marner makes, he saw what Tavares makes, he now sees what Auston Matthews makes. As it is, he already believes he's a $10 million player. If he has another really good year, who knows? Maybe he X's for more. And can the Maple Leafs really, realistically do that? Now you have Matthews at 13.25, Marner and Tavares both over 11. Can you pay Nylander $10.5 million? I mean, I don't know. The cap is supposed to go up, more than $1 million, so that might help a little bit. But I don't know. I don't see it being, a good financial investment for the Maple Leafs to sign Nylander for that much money when you have those other guys. Now, if there was a way they could find a way to, shed Tavares' contract, then, maybe that changes things, but I don't really see that happening. So, and the other side of the coin here, Marc, before I turn it over to Mariota there, the Maple Leafs are in a situation that they're expecting to contend to a cup. So, yes, they may not want to lose Nylander for nothing, even if they know they're not going to be able to re-sign him. But at the same time, if you trade William Nylander right now, boys, you could get a lot in return. You could get a piece that you need desperately on defense. Like they can, I always reference it. They can make a Hall for Larson type trade, 1-for-1. Trade Nylander for a young defenseman that can help them out. Or if they didn't want to do that, they could trade Nylander for, multiple pieces, get just overall better depth. So there's a lot of things they can go with it if they wanted to move him. But that's what I think they should do. But I don't think they're going to.
There is so much to break down with this. I guess first we'll have to start with the Auston Matthews extension. That this is great. Auston Matthews, perfect job negotiating these last two contracts. He deserves to be paid this much. Does he deserve more than McDavid? That's a different question. But for the Leafs, you got to pay him his market value is coming up. And then, that's where the guy gets the money. It's always the next guy that gets the money. That's why sometimes the long-term contracts don't exactly reflect what a player is worth. Because, Connor McDavid's worth more than $12.5 million. I still wouldn't have given him that contract coming midway through his ELC like Peter Chiarelli did. But whatever. I mean, that's a different story. He is worth it, though. I have to admit that. Going back to this, everybody said before, Kyle Dubas has made a huge error by signing Matthews basically to the point where he could walk out the door for nothing. And now you know exactly why Matthews did this, because he had the leverage to get the money, and he got the money. He got paid is the best way to say it. If you say anyway but paid, then you're grossly underestimating how much he was getting paid. So I can't do that all show. It's not gonna really work for me. I'm gonna go back to just saying the word paid. Anyway, what this means for William Nylander, first off, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but the Vegas Golden Knights became the first team with a $10 million player on as a contract to win a Stanley Cup, right?
Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel. Other than that, I don't know if a $10 million player has won a Stanley Cup. Never mind, can you stack a team with four of these guys? I don't think you could do that. So
in
even
salary cap era, I don't think there's any team that's won. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and we know the New York Rangers want to do it. They got a guy that's making over $11 million. That's not good. So if I just set the bar at 10, and there's a lot of guys that are making a little bit more than 10, but there's this is not good for William Nylander, because I can't help but point out and say, you think you're going to win it with four guys that are making over $10 million? That's not going to happen. In this case, Anthony's right. You got to start packing your bags, kid, and start looking for apartments in places, because they're going to ship you out. And this would be a golden opportunity. I think they could. They might not. He's a good player, good teammate, everything else. But also, if he's not willing to take a pay cut, if he's going to try to say he's worth as much as Tavares, then they might have no choice. Brad Treliving isn't wedded to these guys as the way Kyle Dubas might have been. But this is, and Anthony, you said it best, this is a golden opportunity for Toronto to restock the cupboard, to get extra help, maybe a Ryan Johansson for Seth Jones type of trade, where you address a need and then you get something and plug a huge hole. Now,
I like this comment here from Pete. I agree. I wonder if maybe Toronto could try to get Rasmus Andersson from the Flames for William Nylander, because I like Rasmus Andersson as a better idea for them. Noah Hanifin to me seems like a good second pairing, top four defenseman type. Rasmus Andersson to me seems like he could be a top pairing offensive guy. I don't see a great two-way defender there for them. I don't think Weegar would nearly be enough for Nylander, and I think Anderson for Nylander would be a better fit for both sides. So if they can make a deal like that, something with that as like the core basis of a trade, then I think this would be a real good idea for both teams.
So Toronto right now with Muzzin and Murray on LTIR already, they're still over the cap by $2.9 million. So
are you looking on cap friendly?
Yeah.
Because they started doing candidates for that LTIR. instead of like having them actually on there, because LTIR is not active in the off season.
Yeah, I know that's what you got to go to. You got to go to Armchair GM and select this coming season, and that simulates as being in season, and it gives you the true deficit of what they're looking at right now. They're still over the cap by $2.9 million.
Yeah,
with
if you see it underneath it, it says preseason LTIR candidate estimates. Yeah, 2.9 or 2,943,950.
Yeah, so they still have to. They're gonna have to send someone down to the minors to help chip away at that, whether it be Lafreniere at 1.1 or and go with 12 forwards and then send down a Connor Timmins at 1.1 and have just 12 forwards and 6D, have a bare bones roster. But I guess the point to that is, yes, trading Nylander right now solves their cap issues, by a lot, because that's a lot of money going out the door. But I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to trade him
right now. No, they're not going to. I don't see it.
But this would be a golden opportunity for them to.
It would, because I think this is the time that they're going to get the most for William Nylander if they do it.
Well, that was the breaking news that just happened just a few minutes ago. We're going to talk more about Auston Matthews in a moment and how good of a season he might potentially have, because an hour ago we got this news that the New York Rangers re-sign Alexis Lafreniere to a 2-year, $2.3 million. I think it's like 2.325, I think it is in actuality, or something, $1 million AAV.
It's 2.325.
All right, I'll fix that in a second, or at least I mentioned that, so that's what is much better. Phil, we'll start. Actually, you know what? Let's not start with you, Anthony. What are your thoughts on Alexis Lafreniere re-signing?
This is exactly what we all kind of expected, right? A bridge deal. I had said 2.25, so we got a little more than that. But yeah, I mean, this is I think what everyone expected. I'm not surprised by the term. Not surprised by the AAV. Now it's on Lafreniere to really put his game together and prove he belongs. He's got a new coach again, and now this is his time to really ramp up his game and help the Rangers. Because I'll say this: if after this bridge deal ends, after the 2 years, if he's still a 39-point player, I would bet anything I had at that point he would be finished as a Ranger if he doesn't progress after what he's at now. So if he wants to earn more money in this league, like a big payday, like eventually like a Stützle, and make real money, he's going to have to really commit himself and break out this year, and then next go around he can cash in. But I think both sides kind of knew that this was eventually the meeting place here. So it's that whole thing isn't any news, but hopefully the Rangers, hopefully for their sake, Lafreniere, breaks out, and hopefully for his sake that, he does that and he can eventually earn himself some more money. But I'm curious to see how he looks in camp, if he's motivated and skating hard and really forces the coaching staff to, use him in more situations and give him more ice time.
I thought you were going to give me the yawn you gave me right before the pre-taping, or before the going live. It's what was expected, yes. Yeah. Phil, what do you think? We made a video about this, about how I would hand him Capo's contract. That's basically what he got right here.
Oh, when you think about it, yeah. I mean, last offseason, in July of 2022, Capo got $2.1 million for 2 years. I mean, if you want to, I guess, factor in inflation and the fact that he was a first overall pick, that's why he probably got the 2.3 as opposed to the 2.1. But it's about the same. And I mean, as I said before, like in the NFL, the next quarterback up is usually the guy who gets the next highest salary. So in this case, Lafreniere was the next guy up, and he got a little bit of a higher salary than Kako. But
or wide receiver, by the way, just don't be a running back.
Just don't be a running back in the NFL, then you get screwed. But I've said basically what Anthony had said, and I've said previously as well that this was the time where it was going to be make or break, and that he has to start taking his off seasons more seriously. He has to come in with an improved focus, a motivation to play, to be better, to be faster, to be stronger, to be better conditioned, and we're going to see that this year. If not, then goodbye. Then you're probably dealt in the next offseason for something in a change of scenery type trade. But Alexis Lafreniere, it's on him now. And I was going to say before, you were talking about an $11 million player that needs to start playing like an $11 million player, Artemi Panarin. The first overall draft pick needs to start playing like a first overall draft pick. He just hasn't done it enough. And it's time. There's no excuses. Your two dumb coaches are gone. You know, there's no more excuses. Go earn your ice time. Go earn those power play minutes. Go get your money and start playing like the franchise player you were drafted to be. So no more excuses, nothing. Shut up, get to work, and start producing.
I wrote an article earlier in the year, in the summer, about the Laviolette effect and the players that he had an effect on. Eric Cole, Victor Arvidsson, even Sean Bates. Alexis Lafreniere fits that mold, and he could possibly be the most talented player of all those guys. And I'm saying talent, everybody, because he still has to put it together. Yeah, it's like a pitcher. You ever hear a pitcher with great stuff? Who cares if he's got a 5 ERA? You got to put it together. This is a coach that can help you put it together. So that's why I think with Lafreniere, perfect deal for him. Cap goes up. And you know what? You give the Rangers a bargain, and maybe they're going to pay you after 2 years. Also, before I get to another guy whose contract situation is a little bit sticky, let's just focus on Evan Bouchard, who, according to Elliot Friedman, is finalizing a 2-year, $7.8 AAV million deal. Sorry, it's 3.9. I messed it up, guys. But Evan Bouchard's finalizing a 2-year, $7.8 million deal. Phil, what do you think about Bouchard, since it looked like he was starting to put it all together at the end of last year?
He looks like he's going to be the offensive guy that the Edmonton Oilers wanted when they drafted him in the first round in 2018. Funny enough, Anthony and I were there for that draft. But this is a big, rangy defender that skates well, can move the puck well, and can quarterback a power play. Has a big shot. 43 points in 2022, 40 points last year. He just looks like he's here. He's arrived. I think his offensive numbers are probably going to go up. I really do. I just think that he's going to get better offensively. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great defensive defenseman, good in his own zone, but he's going to be another one of these types that are coming out in today's day and age where they're great at moving the puck. They're great at playing keep away. That's their way of playing defense. But Bouchard can really move the puck well. He's got a good first pass. Great playmaker in the offensive zone. Adept at moving the puck out of the zone. Good breakout passes. Good vision up the ice in that regard. But, I mean, the points are really what you're going to judge this guy on going forward. And I think he's going to be a 50-plus, maybe even a 60-point defenseman one day. So
I just have to smile because, as you said that is like the natural thing. Everybody's saying, well, the defensemen are playing keep away. And we're talking about two of the biggest names that are making news the last couple weeks. Erik Karlsson being traded, who always likes to play keep away because he always has the puck. And Auston Matthews, who just had the extension this year. How did he get his first NHL goal? He stripped the puck away from Erik Karlsson. So, yeah. And Anthony, what's your thoughts on Bouchard? Has Edmonton finally found that defenseman that they wanted to go with these guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's Phil said he's a back-to-back 40-point defenseman, still young. And when you're talking about a guy who's going to man the first power play unit playing with talents like Draisaitl and McDavid, I see no reason why he can't, move that point total up to at least 60 points playing with those guys on the power play. I mean, that really honestly should be the expectation. But he skates well. Like Phil said, he makes a good first pass. This is a guy that if he does get that deal that's been reported, it's similar to Keandre Miller, close to Noah Dobson, all comparables. I mean, Dobson already has a 50-point season under his belt, but I mean they are similar, different in some ways, but also similar. So I think it will be a fair deal once it gets finalized. It'll put the Oilers over the cap by a little bit. Just have to take care of some housekeeping and maybe waive a guy or so. But overall, it's going to be a good deal for both sides, and I expect them to continue growing.
You talked about
All right, guys.
similarities there. I just want to mention one thing before we move on. You talked about similarities. Look at the guys that all came from that 2018 draft on defense. Dahlin, Quinn Hughes, Miller, Bouchard, Dobson. Like, these are big offensive defensemen right there. And you got three guys in Miller, Bouchard, and Dobson that all got around the same deals, funny enough.
Think about all the forwards that are failures. I mean, Kravtsov, we could close the book on him. Wahlstrom, jury's out, but it's not looking great.
Wahlstrom.
Yeah. There's
a lot of those. The only guys. One in that the one defenseman in that class that really hasn't broken out yet is the guy who was selected 8th overall in Adam Boquist. He hasn't put up the points yet, but
no, but he's actually not a bad defenseman at all, though. He's pretty solid. Two-way guy. Is. So.
And speaking about another guy that the jury's out
last year too.
Sorry about that, Ant. Repeat that.
No, I said he did score 11 goals last year, so he got into double digits. It's just the point total hasn't been.
He had 24 points in only 46 games this past year, so he was on pace for over 40 points.
Oh, I didn't realize the games played. Yeah, you're right. Only 46 games played last year. So yeah, honestly, then he's on his way there too. Then
health is a big factor, and also, I mean, the jury's still out on Nils Lundqvist. So if you can get to what's the number that the Rangers can get another draft pick from? It's like 56 points. Philk?
I'm not sure offhand. I'd have to look that up.
All right. Well, you can't know everything right off the top of your head. But guys, going to another guy whose contract talks are right now on hold, which is Elias Pettersson, who has put the talks on hold until after the season. He says it's because he wants to focus on this season. Is Elias Pettersson done in Vancouver?
I don't think so. This is another one of the guys that Elliot Friedman sat down with. That's who he had this discussion with. No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, sometimes when a guy says that, you kind of think, uh-oh. But for him, I don't know if I would say that he's done in Vancouver. I mean, I think he is probably being a little sincere there. But again, who knows? But Elliot Friedman said he's really focusing on his nutrition, and his conditioning. And that's a scary thought because he's already a really, really good player. If he improves and gets even stronger, who knows what he could do? Because he had hell of a year last year. But I would say Vancouver will do everything in their power to keep this guy. I mean, he's their franchise player. I think they'll roll out the red carpet for him when it comes time to re-sign him. So I wouldn't say he's done in Vancouver, but I guess also, who knows? Maybe if this year goes terribly wrong, then maybe he decides to kind of, move on. But there's still a lot of time left.
By the way, Anthony, thank you for stepping up and filling the void of silence that I created right there. Phil, what are your thoughts right here? Is this a C that he's done in Vancouver, or is it just negotiating tactics? Because he is an RFA next year.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Vancouver is going to give him all the money in the world. I think he's probably going to get it upwards of like an $11, $12 million deal when this deal ends. He knows that he deserves it. 102 points last year. I mean, the only other Vancouver Canucks players to really do so are Bure, Naslund, and the Sedin brothers. So he's the 5th player in Vancouver history to get, obviously, or break the 100-point mark. He's 24 years old. He's young. And like you said, if he's now finally focusing on his nutrition, his strength, and his conditioning, what does that mean for the rest of the league? Because this guy is an insane player. He's one of the best shots in the league. He already shoots like 110 miles an hour almost. I think he's been clocked at like 106. What is this guy going to do when he actually puts on some muscle and he doesn't look like olive oil from Popeye? I mean, that's what if you've ever seen him in street clothes, he's lanky. He's like this long, lanky arm, thin, rail thin guy. Now all of a sudden he's going to put on muscle? Forget about it. I wonder how it's going to affect the skating at first. But, I mean, this is not a guy that really has depended on skating to be great for most of his career. That was actually one of the big knocks about him in his draft year was the skating. Oh, the size and the skating. Is he ever going to be able to bulk up and last at the NHL level and his skating, But no, I don't think he's done in Vancouver at all. I just think he's putting himself in a position for just a mega deal. I think he's probably going to get somewhere around $11.5 million. I think that's what you're probably looking at when it's all said and done for him.
The answer on that is maybe a wait and see approach, but it doesn't really matter. He's an RFA. Vancouver is going to throw so much money at him at the end of the year. He's going to be staying. He is Vancouver. That is right on that one, Jason.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody that is watching, you have to be subscribed right now in order to comment because we are going to be doing some giveaways today. We have a Kyle Palmieri signed puck, a Kyle Palmieri signed picture, and a Kyle Palmieri signed Big Apple hockey hat that we're going to be giving away. Anthony, what else do we got for them?
I got that Igor Shesterkin t-shirt.
Yes. So we got an Igor Shesterkin t-shirt. It looks amazing. I'm dragging my feet on getting the shop open, guys, but we are going to be getting some other stuff going on. But we also do have an eBay store as well for everybody. Let's do a quick thing where we've started doing this a little bit more. We're going to call it impulsive reactions. We're just going to react and just say what we think. Here's a quick intro for you guys.
Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone.
Chill. Simmer down now.
I'm freaking out!
Because these are the Big Apple Hockey's impulsive reactions, or take your pick, whichever one you want to say. And we're just going to ask a couple questions. What do you guys think? Also, play it in the chat. But more importantly, because Phil is going to analyze it and talk for a while as soon as he makes his decision. So, because that's what happens when you got a brain like his. Phil, I'm going to start with you. Who's going to score more goals? The 60-goal scorer from last year, David Pastrnak, or the 60-goal scorer from 2 years ago, Auston Matthews?
I'm going to go Matthews. I just think that Pastrnak is losing two great centers. I mean, he played on a line with Pavel Zacha and David Krejci, and now David Krejci is retiring. Boston's center depth is crap now. I mean, it's now Zacha and Coyle are their top two centers. If Marc Scheifele gets traded to Boston, then maybe it's a different story. But I'm going Matthews here.
Anthony.
Yeah, Auston Matthews. Pasternak's still one of the league's best goal scorers. Like Phil said, he's losing two pretty good centers. So I think because of that tips the edge in Auston Matthews' favor here. So mustache man.
I'm going to go with Auston Matthews as well, the mustache man, as Anthony said, because after all, that Leafs team is right now a fully operational Death Star until they're taken out by a single X-Wing fighter in the playoffs, usually in the first round. All right. Anthony, who will score more goals this season? The Flyers' Travis Konechny or the Canadiens' Nick Suzuki?
So I expect the Flyers to be dreadful, one of the worst teams. Canadiens still bad, but probably maybe better. I'm going to go I'm going to go Travis Konechny. He had his first 30-goal, 60-point season last year. I think he's more of a shooter than Nick Suzuki. Even though Suzuki could score, I feel like he's more of like a passer. I think Konechny is a guy that has, like I said, he likes to shoot more. He's got a good release, got a good shot. So I'll go Konechny, even though I think the Flyers are going to be bad.
Philk.
This is a tough one. Suzuki had 26 goals last year at 66 points. Really good year for him. Konechny, I think, is the better goal scorer overall. I wonder. He had 31 last year in only 60 games. I'm going to go Konechny again. I'm going to go Konechny again, just because I feel like that offense is going to revolve around Konechny, and I do think he's the better scorer. So yeah, I'm gonna go Konechny there.
Let's just make it a clean sweep. I'm gonna go with Konechny as well. I want to say Nick Suzuki, but I think the Flyers are gonna just have to run everything through Konechny. I think he's gonna be playing a lot of ice, and I hope he produces just as well. Hell of a player Travis Konechny is. It's got to be him. I just think it has to be him. And lastly, who will be traded first, Marc Scheifele or Elias Lindholm? And boys, I'll start this one because it is the third one. I'm going to say it's Marc Scheifele. I think there's a chance Calgary could be pretty good this year, and I think if they're good, that means Winnipeg drops off. And if that's the case, I don't see any way that Marc Scheifele is staying on this team past the end of February, and he will be moved to a playoff contender. Anthony.
I'm going to go Scheifele too. I think Calgary has a better chance to be a team that could go further than Winnipeg. And also too, I heard Elias Lindholm, even though in the beginning of the offseason seemed like, he was unsure or wanted to leave Calgary. There have been some reports now where he's now more open-minded to staying. So that alone is making me, push more towards Marc Scheifele here. I'll still be surprised if he gets traded before the season. The Bruins are desperate for center iceman. Maybe if they, threw a big package at Winnipeg, they'd move him now. But I'm going to say Scheifele, and I'm going to say it's at the trade deadline.
All right. And Philk.
Scheifele easily. Lindholm, I see Calgary as a big bounce back team. I think Sutter was a big problem there. I think the players got tired of it. Coaches like that, they only last for so long. And Sutter is kind of ingrained in his ways of playing that Western hockey defensive first game. That tires on players. It really does. So I think Jonathan Huberdeau is going to be a big rebound season for him. I think he's going to get back to a point-per-game player or better status. I wouldn't be shocked if he scores 90 points this year. I think that's going to help players like Lindholm and Kadri and other players. I think they're going to be better overall as a team. So I don't think Elias Lindholm is getting traded. Scheifele for sure is gone by the end of the year.
All right. Well, I just got a picture of a lot of guys that are watching us right now over at Timeout Sports Bar in Hicksville. Just want to give them a shout out. Guys, everybody, thank you. And although technically this counts as one viewer when it's potentially several more. So that's one thing to get on there. We're going to take a message from DraftKings, guys, and then we're going to go on and do some bar talk. And we're going to start the giveaways to get the comments in there. Hockey fans light the lamp this winter with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sports app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN.
Shot. This is the easiest I've ever to answer.
I'm going to say beer. I can't even begin to describe.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. And welcome back, everybody, once again to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. Are you so confident that you're going to buy everybody around? So, I'm just going to have a shot. Or so is a beer. When you're depressed or just a little bit, you just need a shot. All right. And, of course, why go to the liquor store when you can make it a Drizly night? Go on the app, start up an account. You can click the link below from us and have everybody bring everything to you, whether it's beer, wine. You're having a party, just have somebody else go get it. All right. Big Apple Hockey Trucker hats are available. Sorry, I just clicked on that link. I missed something right there. Oh, well, sometimes the layup talks are by design. And, of course, this is Subscriber Appreciation Night. So everybody right now, type in Palmieri in the comments. I will get those into the Wheel of Names. Philk, Alexis Lafreniere re-signed today the 2-year deal. The New York Rangers need to break up the kid line.
I'm going to go round. I think it's time to get these guys away from each other and start letting them play bigger roles. I mean, obviously, Heedle's not going to get – I would like to see Heedle as a second-line center over Trocheck. I know Trocheck had 20 goals and 60 points last year. I think Trocheck is a better fit in the third-line role. I would love to see Filip Chytil with Artemi Panarin and see what they can do. Because Artemi Panarin, he needs a kick in the ass to start producing at even strength. And he needs to start being the player that he was his first 2 seasons in New York, not the player he was his last 2 years in New York. So I wonder if Filip Chytil could maybe bring that out of him. I definitely want to see that line broken up. I'm going to say round.
Anthony.
I'm going to go round too. I think he needs a change. Lafreniere does. Play with different people, play more of a role, get different looks. At this point, it can't hurt. So, because if you keep doing the kid line, I mean, so far it really. It hasn't worked like the way they wanted it to. So why keep it going that way? You got a new coach too, who's going to see things differently. I would imagine he's going to break it up as well, and probably feels the same way. So round.
Guys, we're going to make it a hat trick. I'm going to go round as well. Let's get that hat trick graph up there. And they got to do this. You got to break them up. You can't just keep on recycling the same thing over and over again and never make an adjustment. That's the reason why Gerard Gallant's not here anymore. This is a move that they have to make. And a matter of fact, I wouldn't even go back to the kid line anyway next year, even if for some reason they're not working elsewhere. You need to find out what you got. You got a 1st and 2nd overall pick. They need to play with other people as well. Also, guys, Dave Pagnotta said on the 4th period that Patrick Kane has been linked to the Islanders, the Avs, the Stars, and the Bruins. And if you haven't checked out, trade again, red, white, and blue for orange and blue on BigAppleHockeyPodcast.com. That was an article written by the man down below right over there. Patrick Kane would be a great fit for the New York Islanders. Mr. LaRocco, this is your beat.
I mean, yeah, right. The Islanders need somebody that can play to an elite level if he's healthy. Kane and Barzal, I mean, I think they play somewhat similar styles. So there's some Islander fans are saying if the Islanders were to sign Kane, you should put him with Nelson and have him feed Nelson. But I think Barzal and Kane would be electric together. Question is one, is Kane healthy? And 2, how do the Islanders make it work? Because Pagnotta, said all those teams, but the funny thing is a lot of those teams don't have much cap space. And the rumor is that Kane's still looking at like a 1-year deal worth like $5 million. So, that's the interesting part about it. But however said, those teams have significant interest in Kane. So we'll see how it plays out. However, though, they're right now, there are only, let me just count this right now. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 6 teams in the league that have enough cap space to give $5 million to Kane. And the only one of them, so they're Detroit, Nashville, Buffalo, Chicago, Anaheim, don't really see as any interest in playing in either of those teams with the exception of Buffalo. So, if he's set on making $5 million, I'm very interested to see how, any of those teams that Pagnotta mentioned end up making it work. But so who knows? We'll have to see. But going back to the question, yeah, I think you'd be a great fit for the Islanders.
All right. Phil.
I'm going to say beer. I've stood by this for years, and I'm going to say it again. They need a sniper. Patrick Kane is primarily a playmaker. And you're talking about putting him with Matthew Barzal. Who has the puck? Is it Barzal or is it Kane? Because one of those, it's like when you have one of those super teams in the NBA. How do you have the ball distributed between 3 to 4 guys that all need the ball constantly? So that's the problem I see with Kane and Barzal together. Maybe Kane and Brock Nelson could be pretty good. I mean that's the playmaker and the goal scorer right there. Maybe that's where the fit is. But the Islanders need another goal scorer because Bo Horvat just wasn't that after the trade. I don't think he's going back to 50 goal pace Bo Horvat ever again. I think that was just unsustainable, that shooting percentage. And Brock Nelson's really your number one goal scoring guy right now. So they need another goal scorer. Do I think he could help? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think he's a great fit? No, I question that. So I'm only going to go beer.
I'm only going to go beer too. Everything you just outlined is a concern. The other thing is Patrick Kane kind of isn't as fast as what he was 7 years ago anymore. Now he's going to be coming off a hip injury. Is he going to be closer to better than what he was with the Rangers last year? Or is he going to be, because I think the Islanders need a little bit more speed. And I think they definitely need a sniper along with Phil. I think they got a lot of guys that grind hard and play hard and even set up plays.
I don't know if he fits that team's identity either.
And yeah, does he have the back check ability? Because defense is at a premium with them. But then again, I'm going to go with what I said when the Rangers acquired him last year, when Anthony said this isn't the right move, and he was kind of right, that when you get a chance to go get Patrick Kane, you go get Patrick Kane. It's just that simple. Guys, moving on to a player who is also coming back, and that's Max Pacioretty, coming off a 5-game season, unfortunately, just 5 games. He had 3 goals with the Carolina Hurricanes due to Achilles injuries. Phil, Max Pacioretty will score 30 goals next year.
I have some serious concerns about his health. He not only ruptured his Achilles again, but it was the same Achilles that he ruptured the first time. So it's not like it was even the other one. We've seen players come back from ACL surgeries. I wonder if he's going to be able to get through a full season. I'm only going to go beer because it is technically possible. They have the pieces around him to the point where he can. I mean, Ovechkin's still going to be Ovechkin. He's still probably going to score 40 to 50 goals, somewhere in that range. I wonder what happens with Nicholas Backstrom. How is he going to be with his hip? TJ Oshie's another year older. His game is starting to deteriorate a little bit. His body, it's taking a toll on his body. Tom Wilson, obviously his production depends on what the guys on offense do around him. I mean, he's not a play driver on that offense. It's just not. And what happens with Evgeny Kuznetsov? Is he going to be a guy that scores maybe 50 points? Or is he going to be closer to the 70-point player that he should be? So I'm just going to go beer here.
Anthony, what do you think?
So in 2019, 2020, that's the last 30-goal season he had, 32 goals. However, in 2021, he had 24 goals, but only 48 games. So over 82, he's well over 30. And then last year, 3 goals in 5 games, very small sample size. But guess what I'm saying is when he's on the ice and healthy, he could score goals. So the question is he truly healthy now, and how is his Achilles? And that's the question we're gonna have to find out. But I'm gonna say beer, easy way out. But I'm gonna say beer. I think if he could stay healthy and doesn't get injured, I see no reason to believe why he wouldn't score 30 goals, because he's always pacing for that the last couple of years when he was on the ice. So I'll say beer, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does hit it. I won't be surprised.
Not going to argue with you that I wouldn't be surprised. I am going to go shot, and I'm going to go for several reasons. But going back to what Phil started saying before, it is hard to quantify what an Achilles injury is with a hockey player, because your foot's in a boot. So you're not really like driving that. But also, I remember when I was growing up, I got a lot faster when I started working out my calves and my legs down there. So I don't know if it's as crippling as it would be for, say, a basketball player, or remembering Dan Marino gimping around an NFL field for 5 years. So I'm not sure if it's exactly that. I know in a lot of other sports, and hell, in Greek mythology, an Achilles injury was pretty bad. So I don't know about that. The second part of that is Max Pacioretty will not be a Washington Capital if he's scoring at a great pace, because I think they'll end up trying to move him or something. Yeah, he'll be moved. So, and I hope Patch is the best, because I kind of feel like this guy is just, the last couple of years has just not been fair to him. He loved being out in Vegas, and they went out and they got him, and then he was a cap casualty. They go and they win the cup. He's with Carolina. He has 3 goals in 5 games, and he ruptures the same Achilles. Just ouch. I mean, guy could use a break. And as we alluded to earlier, guys, Boston Bruins top centers right now are Pavel Zacha and Charlie Coyle. Bruins will trade for a center before training camp starts, Mr. LaRocco.
So, I mean, we touched on this before when the kind of impulse reaction, who gets traded first, Scheifele or Lindholm. I don't think any of them are being traded before the season. And really, I think it's only Scheifele that's somewhat close to maybe being certain that he's dealt at the deadline. But I mean, who's out there right now for him other than those 2 guys that center wise that can really help them out. I honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't see it. You know what? I'm gonna go shot. I don't see it happening.
Bill, what do you think?
I'm in the same boat, shot. I don't see when this deal happens, unless Winnipeg just all of a sudden gets like this crazy offer from Boston to deal Scheifele. I don't see where it happens. So there's nothing else available unless some random deal out of the blue that we're not even thinking of ends up happening. I don't see it.
Yeah, I got to go with you on that one, guys. I'm going to go shot. It's getting time for sort of like on Hoosiers, where Gene Hackman always just points out and says that my team's on the floor, and then that's it. And he only played with, I think, 4 players at that moment, instead of putting in one of the guys that was on his bench. It's just, your team is ready. That's what happens. And I don't see it happening right away unless there's an injury or a contract situation that opens things up. Maybe, who knows, William Nylander, but I don't see Toronto going to trade him there. The last trade between Toronto and Boston hasn't exactly worked out for Toronto.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just to say the least. So I don't think they're going to be doing that anytime soon. Speaking about depth charts and players dealing with injuries, Florida's Aaron Ekblad and Brandon Montour are recovering from injuries from their playoff run, and they could be out as late as November or December. not having Ekblad and Montour until November and December will cause the Panthers to miss the playoffs. If that is the case, Anthony, I'm going to take that right now, and I am going to buy around on that one. You cannot miss 2/3 of your defense, or a third of your defense, I should say. I got the right fraction the second time around, and that's you can't have that. Now, Ekblad is supposed to be missing right now. They're saying maybe through training camp and some preseason games. But these guys had a lot that was wrong. The shoulder was done for Montour. Hopefully they don't miss much, guys, because these were two of Phil's top 30 defensemen on his video. Check it out in case if you haven't. Phil, I'll go to you. What do you think?
I think I'm going to say beer just because it's going to add to it, but I think there are other problems with Florida. I think the defense overall still really isn't that good. It seemed like the Cinderella story with Bobrovsky, where it turned midnight and he went into a pumpkin again in the Stanley Cup Finals. I wonder about their goaltending. I don't think Sergei Bobrovsky is going to get back to where he was in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. And I really think that this Florida team is pretty flawed. I mean, you had to get rid of Anthony Duclair on top of that. I just,
and you sent him to San Jose.
Send him to San Jose of all places, yeah. And I just don't think they're that good of a team. So I think this ain't going to help, but I don't think it's going to be the determining factor. I think they're just a flawed team in general. And they almost missed last year anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's another problem too. I think they need everybody. They need all hands on deck. Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, when you compound some of the other things they're dealing with this, to me, I think it's insurmountable. I'm going to go round. Without Ekblad and Montour, their defensive Gustav Forsling, okay, he's good. Then you got OEL, who's a shell of himself. Mike Riley, Mahora. I mean, I really don't like their D with those two gone. I mean, Kulikov, it's just I don't see it. And I think, Mark, I know you said Ekblad training camp. I'm pretty sure he's definitely out through October. The last thing I saw was training camp.
So I'm okay with you updating me.
I don't see it. I think if they're out to November, especially December, I think they're in a lot of trouble. So I'm going to say round
that
here.
They can ill afford to have too many players that are going to be missing. That is just not going to be a good situation. Let's talk about another guy that extended down in Florida. Brendan Hagel extends with Tampa Bay to an 8-year, $6.5 million AAV deal. I'll have that corrected. And I mean, that's just how many everybody's getting 8-year deals that are over there. Anthony, Brendan Hagel's deal is going to cost the Lightning a key player.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about this yesterday, right, when it happened. I don't know if it's going to cost them a key player as much as the question is, well, I guess it technically is all the same. But, yeah, can they keep Stamkos? I think they're, if Stamkos, a guy who's already won multiple cups, made a lot of money, seems like a loyal guy. I mean, he basically spurned free agency the first time around to stay in Tampa. Seems like a guy that wants to spend his whole career in one spot. So if all that's actually true, I think he'll do what he can do. He'll do what he has to do to make sure he works the Lightning and stays there. But even if that does happen and they do keep Stamkos, the answer is round because they'll have to move other pieces. So yes, it's round. So let's say they make Stamkos work. They're going to have to move. They're going to have to move a guy like Chernak, because either that or they're going to have to fill out the rest of the roster with league minimum players because they're not going to have much space. So I'm going to say round here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go round. I think that he deserves it. 6.5 is nice for him, especially if he continues to be a 30-goal, 60-point player going forward, which provided who he's probably going to be playing with, I think he's going to be. And it seems like Brandon Hagel is the type of guy that fits the mold of that complementary player that plays with guys like Point, Kucherov, and Stamkos.
Mm-hmm.
That gritty guy who plays a good, solid two-way game that can go win those battles along the boards, but gives you that offensive pop on top of that when put with the right guys. And that's why he got this deal. But yeah, I do think that someone's got to go. I think they're probably going to end up dealing Erik Cernak when it's all said and done, because I don't think Steven Stamkos is leaving the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think you can replace a guy like Cernak. You can draft a guy like that even in later rounds. I mean, even if you get a guy like that as a first round pick, depending on where he's picked in the round, you're pretty happy with that. But yeah, he seems to be a lot more replaceable than someone like Steven Stamkos. And I thought he was going to be dealt this year as a cap casualty. And I'm still surprised that it didn't happen. But I do see Cernak getting dealt after this season.
I'm trying to figure out how the cap works when it comes to Tampa Bay. It seems like everybody is getting paid big monies for a lot of years. And I mean, there's no state income tax, so they're getting the break over there. But that's not even it. Like, it seems like they're just handing out extensions like there's no tomorrow. You're going to have to pay the piper. That credit card bill is going to come. And I don't know who it's going to be. I can't imagine you let Steven Stamkos go. But this is a team that got rid of Vinny Lecavalier and Marty St-Louis, two guys that should have been lifelong Tampa Bay Lightning players. So I'm actually going to go round on this one as well. And it's just, I can't imagine. I can't imagine it happening, but it's going to happen. So that is for sure. All right. Once again, everybody, make sure you're commenting Palmieri for any of the signed stuff. We're going to have other giveaways in a moment. The Elias Pettersson contract. Oh, wait, sorry. We talked about that one earlier. I didn't delete it from this because it got moved to the
job
start. All right, guys, the LA Kings goaltending situation. You have Cam Talbot, Phoenix Copley, and David Rittich. I always want to call him Calvin Rittich. Was there somebody named Calvin Rittich around? Anyway, LA has the worst goaltending depth in the Pacific Division. Phil, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go around on this. Just look at the teams in that division, and you're just saying to yourself, like, okay, like I like Gibson and Dostal in Anaheim. The team in front of them is questionable. If Markstrom can rebound, Markstrom is far better than any of the three goalies that LA has. Edmonton, you could make an argument for them. Maybe San Jose, but Seattle's is not great either. And then in Vancouver, you have Thatcher Demko, but this is definitely an arguable case. I'm just going to say round just because I think that none of these guys – and the only reason I'm not going to go with San Jose is because San Jose is not expected to compete. They're not. They're just expected to tank and then try to get the next best player in the upcoming draft, and that's it. So for a team that wants to compete, LA's got the worst goaltending depth.
Anthony, what do you think?
I mean, it's definitely between LA and San Jose. I mean, Mackenzie Blackwood started off his career with some promise, then he dealt with injuries and he's been bad. Capo, Cajonen, I guess he's, Cam Talbot has had some success in his career. It's honestly, it's real close. I'm going to say it's tough. I don't know who I think's, you know what? I'll go round. I think I'll give the nod to San Jose just because I guess Mackenzie Blackwood is still somewhat young and has some, maybe has some upside where he can get back to where he was. And, Cajonen is too. Him too is kind of like the Kings trio of goalies are just Talbot's old. I mean, Riddick was like a never was. I mean, he's not good. And Copley, same thing. He's like a journeyman who, had a streak last year where he played somewhat good for LA. But yeah, I think it is LA.
I gotta make this a hat trick. Because if you want to go with just the question that they got the worst goaltending depth and you're competing against San Jose. No, this Rittich, he's a backup goalie at best. He can spot start and maybe carry you for a couple weeks like he did in Calgary. But but I mean, Phoenix Copley, he came up last year. I mean, they're thinking that Bill Ranford can do miracles, and he's gonna have to. You know what though, Mr. Jams fan, I'm gonna disagree with that. It can't be Gibson. Anaheim is not going to trade him.
Anaheim's they're not trading him to LA.
No,
right?
No.
And it better be for a song if that's the case, because this is a conversation that I've been having. And by the way, sorry, there's one name I didn't mention yet. Cam Talbot. Hey guys, this ain't 5 years ago. Never mind 2015. So San Jose is rough, Pete. But man,
6 years ago, 2017 was when he had that big 40-win season.
Yeah, since then he's played on. Just since then, Edmonton, Philadelphia, Calgary, Minnesota, Ottawa. You can't be a journeyman and be effective unless you're Mike Sillinger, who is always great for Puckdoku, which we'll be getting to in a moment.
Yeah.
But Phil, this is the second part of this question that I've asked Anthony before. LA made a mistake by going and getting PLD instead of getting Connor Hellebuck.
I don't think Connor Hellebuck was ever really truly available to that point. I think that was a name that was floated around out there because Winnipeg was looking to rebuild supposedly, and they haven't really even done that aside from the PLD deal, which I think was going to happen regardless of their direction, just because Dubois wanted out. But I like this comment right here. King's goaltending is more like court jesters. That's great.
I mean, did the sun rise today? The PLD wanted out of somewhere.
Yeah, he wanted out. So I'm not going to say that they made a mistake by doing that because I don't think that was ever realistically an option.
Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hellebuck was definitely talked about a lot. There were a lot of rumors to New Jersey, but I don't know if him going to LA was ever a realistic option. I think if he was traded, it seemed like he was destined to go to a team in the Eastern Conference. So I don't know if LA could have even acquired him if they wanted to.
And I guess the other thing to mention with Hellebuck, guys, $6.166 million right now. That's what he's making. UFA at the end of the year. We'll save it for a future bar talk, but they're going to have to move him sooner than later. Goalies don't get moved later in the season. You're going to have to move him early. And does anybody see Winnipeg contending at all? Because if that's the case, why would Hellebuck re-sign in the middle of
a lot of question marks?
And he's a piece that you can. We were talking about this earlier with William Nylander. You could restock the cupboard with him. It just makes sense that you move him now and move him quickly, because then he gets to leave. He gets to say a goodbye message. One guy that said goodbye message to the place he played for a long time, Jonathan Taves, just recently tweeted out a farewell to Chicago and said he is going to take time away from hockey. Phil, Jonathan Taves won't play in the NHL again.
I want to say round, but I'm going to say beer. I just saw pictures of him and Dustin Byfuglien, who's also been away from the NHL for a while now, playing at Marion Hossa's little retirement game, if you want to call it that, overseas. Mm-hmm. And he looked like he was having fun. But I just, if he takes an entire year off with the amount of, wear and tear on his body over the years, and then that illness that he had that caused him to miss time, I think he's probably done. I can't see him coming back. So I can't 110% say for sure that he's done, but I believe he is. So I'm just going to say beer.
Anthony?
You know, I think I'm gonna go round actually, only because he's 35 right now. He's gonna be 36 in April. So, you know, granted, he's not gonna be like, even though he's not gonna play hockey this year, it's not like he's gonna be just sitting on his couch the whole year. I'm sure he's gonna still take care of himself, but still to take a year off from playing hockey and then coming back at 36 years old, it's tough. You know, he's not a young kid anymore. You know, and he's certainly no Mario Lemieux who did it way back when. So I don't know. It's going to be really tough if he really does sit out the whole year and then he thinks he's just going to come back and play the following year at his age. It's tough, and I know he says he's not going to retire because maybe in his heart of hearts he does have the desire to play again, and he just doesn't want to kind of come to grips with it. So he's just kind of like procrastinating it, putting it off because he doesn't want to do it. But yeah, I don't see it happening.
They always talk about whenever NFL players retire, the further they get away from putting the pads on, the less likely they are to put them back on. And usually when you see the guys unretire and go back in, usually it's around when training camp starts, and then because you start to miss the routines you've been in and everything that you've done, basically your entire career, like this kid has done since 2009 was Taves' rookie season. 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things I have to say. I wish the best for him to be healthy first. I hope he recovers 100%. I'm glad he was able to play his 1,000th game with Patrick Kane when I went to go see them in Chicago. You could always check that out in our playlist. But it's hard. It's hard to imagine him wearing another jersey for starters. And I think that's going to factor in. I don't think he ever plays another game in the NHL, guys. And it's not, I don't say that to be like, hey, let me get this great take to put on there. But that's the way I'm going to say it for that. It's who plays first, Taves or Landeskog?
Probably
it's going to be Landeskog.
Honestly, it's not a guarantee. I think it would be, but there's also no guarantee that I think he plays again. I mean, he's having another knee surgery. He's not going to play for what? This is going to be like basically 2 years. He hasn't played, right? I mean, basically that's tough. That's tough.
No, I mean he did play this season,
but very little, like in the beginning of the year, right?
Hold on.
You know what the worst part is? I made that sincere message for Jonathan Taves, and I still have to click the round GIF just because.
Oh, no, he didn't play at all this year. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think he played at all.
I thought he played a little bit this year, but he didn't. Oh, my God.
Well, Phil, do you know where he's going to end up? He's going to end up on LTIR.
Yeah.
Just like all these players I'm flashing on the screen right now. Brent Seabrook is on Tampa's LTIR. Jacob Voracek is on Arizona. So Shea Weber.
I like your spelling of Seabrook. Brent Seabrook.
Oh boy. Yeah, you know what? I can't blame that one on my cell phone, which has been like it's been like sentient and doing all the whatever. So anyway, Brent Seabrook is on with Brent Sabrick. That'll be the new one. It's still another one replace Justin. That's the thing. But Anthony, the NHL should not allow teams to put players on LTIR that has never played for them.
Yeah, you know, I think I'm going to still round here. I think it would be more. I think it would be interesting. I think it would definitely cause more player movement, which fans like. Because think about it, if the Lightning weren't allowed to put Brent Seabrook on the LTIR, think about how much money they'd have to move right now. They're being saved. They're being saved by Seabrook being on their LTIR, and he's never played for him. It's technically, I mean, it's really a cap circumvention. So, like, if you think about it, if they had to move him, you know what they would have to do right now? They'd have to move like, you know, 2 players. They'd have to actually make trades. I think it would create more. I think it would create more action league wide. And even though the players on Arizona aren't on LTIR, because they're the opposite. They want them on regular IR just so they could count towards their cap and they don't have to spend as much to the floor. And with that, if that wasn't allowed, they would actually have to spend money on real players and make actual real moves. So, yeah, I don't like it. I think, yes, in a guy like Landeskog's case, he clearly is Colorado Avalanche, played for him his whole career. He should be allowed to be on LTIR. But this stuff where, like, the Coyotes trading for Jacob Voracek and how the Golden Knights had Shea Weber on their LTIR before they traded him, I don't like it. I think it would create more player movement, too, if it wasn't outside.
Oh, sorry, wait, Anthony. So it's around for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Phil, what do you think?
Shot. So for a bunch of people that complain, and I'm going to put all NHL fans in here, including all 3 of us, for all of us that complain about the cap being a problem and the cap not going up and this and that, now you want to take away flexibility from teams to be able to make moves. I mean, not only that, but let's just say a team trades for Max Pacioretty and they don't get the accurate information, the physicals. Remember how Kevin Adams was withholding the physicals results from the teams that were trying to trade from Jack Eichel? Let's say that happens again. And let's say this team trades for said player. And it turns out that this player has a career-ending injury, and it's not known in because the medical results are being withheld. Now they're going to have to LTIR this guy forever, and that's just going to be it. So you basically want to just put the boots to a team for that. I don't see any reason to this. I don't see who it benefits. I don't see how it benefits anyone. And not only that, but if the player's not LTIR'd, is that going to impact their actual salary and what they get paid? Because if that's the case, then that screws the player. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand. I can't even think of who the hell that would benefit. And now you're just going to create more problems. Just leave it the way it is.
I'm actually going to go beer on this because I understand what Anthony's trying to say. And I'm actually not going to go to round because I'll tell you why. Now, the reason why I understand, you get these big markets that they sign players to big deals. Like, I don't know, let me pick a name out of a hat. How about David Clarkson? Remember how many games he played for the Columbus Blue Jackets, or Nathan Horton playing for other teams? He was on LTIR. Pavel Datsyuk, that well-known Arizona Coyote that played with his teammate, Chris Pronger. There's a lot of things that go into that, and you get these broker teams that they kind of make a situation where you're like, it's almost like a mockery of it. And that's the reason why fans will have the opinion like Anthony will. Fans will have the opinion like Phil will, because it does give them flexibility, and not just for the big market teams. It gives flexibility to the small market team. Like, take, for instance, the one that's taking advantage of this, going back to John Chayka, the Arizona Coyotes, who basically said, we'll take on that contract because we'll have them on here, but you're going to have to give us something. And they're assembling draft picks and other assets in order to do this. It makes sense, actually, then, on both sides. However, what does make a mockery on some other things was 10 years ago when the Islanders acquired Tim Thomas, who was never going to play for him. It was just to get to the salary cap floor. There was another player in there, Anthony. I'm trying to remember who it was. Around that same time, there was another guy like that. That's where it makes a mockery. I understand what you're trying to say, because if I want to kind of punish some teams that make these bad decisions and these bad contracts, but on the other hand, I want to reward the teams who have the flexibility to do this. And that's kind of what it's doing. And I agree with what Phil says. You don't want to punish the players. I'm not sure if the Players Association is going to go for that, because they want more money paid out. And that's what this will do. You get these guys going on different teams. They're just paying them out. But Anthony, I get what you're saying with this, because Brent Seabrook, he's that famous Tampa Bay Lightning career. It's
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who the hell cares? If the general managers are smart enough to find a way to circumvent the cap and navigate around it and everything like that with LTIR or whatever the hell it is, let him do it. Let him do it. I know that Anthony's complained about Tampa Bay several times in the past. You know what? Good on them for being able to do it. Because if your team was in the position where they needed to do it, they would do it, and you would be happy that they did it.
But wouldn't you like to see, just for the sake of movement, like wouldn't you just like to see the Lightning have to move like a guy like Anthony Cirelli right now, because they have to get under?
No, because they're going to have to do it anyway. They're going to have to do it anyway at some point. They're getting to that point. They're getting closer and closer. Look at the guys that they've lost over the last few years. They've lost Killorn. They've lost Maroon. They've lost Gord. They've lost Coleman. They've lost Gaudreau. Look at all those guys that they've lost. You've talked about that loss. They've already lost half their damn roster practically.
And then it's a matter of, are you restocking the cupboard to get everything? Because then you get like other teams, like you guys saw the prospect ratings for a lot of the teams in that bottom five.
That too. Tampa's drowned out their prospect pool, making trades for guys like Tanner Jeannot and Nick Paul to try to keep their team alive because they're losing these guys left and right. So they're trying to restock the team to keep the team alive, and eventually they're just going to screw themselves in the end. So just let the meek kill themselves. Let the idiots just eat war and just collide and just drown themselves out. It's Darwinism. The general managers are going to back themselves into a wall, into a corner, and they're not going to be able to get out of it eventually. So they are going to punish themselves. So you don't need to do anything else to punish them.
And also, guys, Tampa Bay right now, they don't have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a fourth-round pick next year. They don't have a first-round pick in 2025. But they got those 3 7th-rounders next year. Ooh. And Scott also just wants to say that we get a round of applause for Phil's shirt.
PlayStation.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So we got about, it would punish the teams for more for accruing assets. But again, I understand what Anthony's saying right there, along with here's another one.
I get it too. I do, but you're talking about you're already seeing it happen. It's just not, again, Rome wasn't built in a day. It also wasn't destroyed in a day either.
No. Bud Light was destroyed in a day, but that's a different story. All right, I'm joking about that. I'm just joking. Jesus. Although I'm a bartender, we don't sell any more Bud Light anymore.
No, I'm just getting at the fact that Bud Light is merely piss water and really was never good to begin with. And then all of that happened. And again, not destroyed in a day.
Yeah, not destroyed in a day, but it's certainly that next week after that was a bad situation. By the way, just want to mention one thing. I keep saying this all the time.
Comment right there. It's the price to pay to win those cups.
And 3 Western Conference finals. Oh, sorry. Stanley Cup finals, too. Let's add that one in there. But by the way, you want to talk about a mockery on things? Pete's right about this one. The NHL survived the John Scott mockery. They can navigate this one, too.
Correct.
You get those. That John Scott story, I still, guys, I got to say, that's still one of the best stories in All-Star game history and one of the worst at the same time. But I still think
interesting.
I think here's the thing.
Tampa Bay signed Austin Watson to a PTO. Nice depth. Yeah, nice depth player.
All right. I mean, Peter Holland is going to Colorado. That's going to make a huge difference.
He hasn't played in the NHL in like 3, I think. Yeah.
for
Yeah, I
good
think 2017
for good
is-
reason. David, I think I have
Alex Chasen Boston PTO.
Alex
Another
Chason,
one?
yeah, with the Bruins.
Yep.
now. He's not related to Steve Chason from.
No, he's not.
No, that's
Rest in
That's-
peace, Steve Chason.
yeah. One more just to mention this. Just to mention. I mentioned Bill Ranford before. He's the goaltending coach out in LA. So, and I heard the LA writers gushing about it, saying, "Hey, he can do wonders," and I just don't see it happening. So let's give away some stuff right now. We're gonna give away first, guys. If you haven't already gotten your name on for the Palmieri stuff, make sure you comment Palmieri right now. I only have about 6 names right now, so yeah, I got 6 names. So if you want to get in on that, because again, one of them is one of our shirts. Amanda is asking, Tampa's first cup, they were 18 million over the cap. How was that fair?
Everyone can do
by
it.
allowing it.
If you want to take advantage of it, you can go ahead and take advantage of it. And if we were in Tampa Bay's situation, we'd be all saying, hell yeah, we got a Stanley Cup. That's it. Every team can do it. If your team's general manager decides not to do it or is smart enough to, if not smart enough to do it, then that's on them.
And also, let me just say this. It was a situation that was a 50-game season, 56 games. And then if those first two games in Florida go differently, we might not be talking about Tampa winning a Stanley Cup, never mind 2, because then it means you're going to just reintroduce a guy in the
Florida was
playoffs.
the second year. They wouldn't have won the second one. The first year, that was Columbus, and that epic friggin' 5 overtime game.
Yeah.
Marc, you're muted. Muted. Unmute yourself, bud.
He's like, can't hear.
Yeah, you're muted. Muted. MUTED.
Yeah, no, how the hell did it get down to 0? It just automatically did that.
I love how oh man.
No, guys, my thing didn't come out or anything else, so it didn't happen.
All
All
right.
right. I got John Dealey in there. I do not have B-Rye or David or Andy. I'll get those in there, guys. So why don't we start up a Puckdoku right now?
Yes.
All
I
right.
had a uniqueness of 0 on mine, so we're losing some real good ones.
Well, I got a good one that I could use for Flyers and such. Let's get that in there right now. Actually, before we do that, let's get rid of one of these, or at least 2 of these items. All right, so we have a couple of our regulars, B-Rye. And there was David Wood.
Yeah, Core
Okay.
says, Lou hacked your computer. Why don't you give him a call and see?
Oh, poor Lou. All right, so we'll start with this
Big Lou.
as I get those names out.
Poor
Let's,
Lou,
let's
Mark.
start, let's start the Puckdoku.
All
And if
right,
we
go
wanted,
ahead.
we could even do an immaculate grid after this. By the way, I can't wait to get home because I have.
We'll stick with. We don't need to do another one of those.
All right, well, we don't need to. All right, so for the one I want to start with, guys, the Nashville Predator and the Philadelphia Flyer. We'll go with Mark Eaton.
That's a good one.
One I
Is that who you
earlier.
used? Is that who you
I
used?
did not use him. I did not use him. I used
That's a real good one.
Timo
I used
Timonen.
John Slaney.
I used Michael Leighton.
Michael Layton's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was 1%. I had the 3 1% right down the middle. End up I had a uniqueness of 3, but those 1%ers really screwed me.
All right. So, all right, Erica, I got to get you in there. What do you guys got next?
So I don't know. I used for Islanders Blues. I used Adam Creighton, which was 0.1, which is a good one, but obviously can't use him. So
Can't use Sean Hill either because I use Sean Hill.
Jeff Norton, I believe. Would be
that's a good one
for the Islanders.
Go with that
Blues.
one.
All right, where's that going? Oh, Islanders Blues.
Islanders Blues, yeah.
Jeff Norton. Wow, that's. I think I used Eric Brewer.
Wrong. Mark, wrong spot, bud.
Yeah, you're in St. Louis. You're in St. Louis, Nashville.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've seen me mess that up, so I'm okay with being told it was wrong. Jeff Norton, 0.2%. Really? That's it?
Yeah, that's good. That's a real good answer.
Wow. I mean, I can't believe that's all he got. So, Jeremy's saying 70 playoff games for Arizona. Marion.
No, he never actually played a game for them, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, you got to play.
You actually have to play a game.
Was Chris? Did anybody ever try Chris Osgood?
Chris Osgood probably would have been a more obscure. Actually, you could actually probably try to put that for 40 playoff games, but Islanders St. Louis, bet you Osgood would have been a higher percentage.
Okay, let me just see about Osgood for that percentage. That percentage, he would have been 5%.
5%. Okay. So you could probably put Osgood for 40 plus playoff games and St. Louis and see what.
All right. Trying to remember who the guy was. I mentioned him earlier. I like the one that somebody tweeted out, Puckdoku.
I actually have a better one for 40 playoff games in St. Louis, and I didn't use them.
Okay, go ahead.
McTavish.
Craig McTavish.
You could use Stefan Matto as well, or Brian Newton.
You use Glenn Anderson.
Glenn Anderson might be a more recognizable one, but I used Garth Butcher there, and that got me 0.1. But McTavish is probably, that's probably going to be an obscure one. So I'd use
we'll use Craig McTavish then. All right, we're ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it. 0.2%.
Wow, that's only 1% higher than Garth Butcher was at 0.1.
So I had Doug Crossman for that. That was 0.0.
Wow, that's crazy. Doug Crossman. It's
Tim
funny.
Ecclestone was what Pete said.
Ecclestone. Wow, that's an obscure name. Okay,
Esa Tikkanen would have been St. Louis as well because he played under Keenan.
And I think that would have gotten like 0.1% probably because of the fact that not a lot of people remember that Tikkanen was a Blue for that very short time.
Here's a question for you because this one B-Ride brought up. What about Brad Isbister for Arizona?
For Arizona and Islanders, that's a good one actually.
I used Wayne McBean, which was 0.3.
I used Joel Bouchard, which was 0.3. So I would go Isbister for Arizona and Islanders. That's definitely a fit.
I used Cliff Ronning. So
that's
that one
a
out
good
there.
one.
Yikes.
You could actually use Cliff Ronning for Nashville and Arizona.
Yes, you can. Although I had used Cale Hulse, and he was pretty good. But actually, we can use Cliff Ronning because we didn't use these during the day.
Yeah, you can use. Actually will be. Well, you know what might be. You know what's probably less than Isbister actually is Gerald Diddick, because Gerald Diddick played for the Arizona Coyotes. I guarantee you.
I know he played for the Coyotes. He played it for the Islanders in the very early 90s?
Diddick, yeah, he played up until I think 1990.
So throw Diddick in there. I think that's probably going to be less than Isbister.
Actually, you know what? Let's skip ahead of this and let's just go right in with Diddick. It's Gerald Diddick, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Gerald Diddick. Here we go, boys, and 1%.
Wow. No way. I want to see what Isbister would have been then.
I'm surprised that's high or
That's even
1%.
that high. Yeah, I'm really, really surprised that that's at that high.
So we're gonna go with Cliff Ronning right over here.
Yeah, Cliff Ronning. I went with Jim McKenzie, and that got me 0.4. Ronning's
I use Yannick. I use Yannick Perreault.
3%.
3%. Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, Yannick Perreault.
Okay. 40 games
Blues
for a
cred.
playoff career. I used Oleg Tverdovsky there. You could use Teppo Numminen. I think that's.
I used Teppo Numminen.
Oh,
I used Steve Sullivan, which was 0.1.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, because he played there towards the end of his career. I think it was 2013 or 2014. I think he was there.
I'm trying to think. You know who? Frederick Olesen played for the Jets. Which is the same thing as Coyotes.
Yeah, or maybe I'm not sure if he has enough games, but I wonder if Daryl Shannon would be Darren. Sorry, not Daryl. Daryl was Buffalo. I think
Marc can't spell Frederick Olesen, so he just gave up. It's Frederick. Marc, it's Fred.
Okay, how do you spell his name?
Fred R-I-K, Frederick, and then O-L-A-U-S-S-O-N.
All right, hold on.
Oh,
Marc.
See, there's no C.
Yes, right there.
All right,
he's right there.
right here. Frederick Olesen, 1%.
You didn't even say the name there. You got
because I was so mad. I was so fucking.
What is it?
Frederick Olesen.
Oh wow, 0.1. Darren Shannon would have qualified. I would have loved to have seen what he would have gotten.
Oh, well, you know, because I got a private browser open over here to check sometimes.
Let's see.
I actually love it that now they update the uniqueness in live time.
Nashville and St. Louis. I
went JJ Daniel.
Darren Shannon was a 0.0, Phil.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure if Darren Shannon said that.
Yeah. I used Blair Atchingham for Nashville and St. Louis, and that got me 0.7%.
I had Bill Holder.
I used JJ Daniel.
Okay. Nashville and St. Louis. Let's see here.
Let's see what names we could throw out. Waiting for you.
Korea would be the most obvious one that I could think of.
Yeah, that.
By the way, Braden Coburn, underrated Flyer. I forgot. Kim Janssen played for the Islanders?
No.
Minnesota Rangers, Minnesota, and the Flyers.
The Flyers, yeah. St. Louis and Nashville. You could put Sillinger there.
How about Bruno Gervais? Yeah. There's a good one for B-Rye.
Flyers Islanders is probably going to be a good one. Yeah. I would put that there.
I used Freddie Meyer, which was 0.6.
I used Keith Acton, which was 0.4.
Yeah.
I don't think that guy played for Nashville, Pete.
Bruno Gervais is 0.09%, just in case if you're wondering. And I just need to find out who I use right there. Oh, I use Mike York, 0.5%.
What?
Yeah, Mike York. Zhitnik is another guy, Isle Flyers guy.
Yeah, not a lot of people are going to remember Zhitnik. I would use Bruno Gervais. I really would. Right. I think that's going to get you a lot of – that's going to get you a good uniqueness score there.
Okay. Well, so, fortunately, it's easy to spell Bruno.
Good job, Marc.
0.9%, boys.
Yeah,
that's good.
So that's good. St. Louis and Nashville.
Terry Yake never played for Nashville, right?
Yeah, for Nashville, no, but he played for St. Louis beforehand.
Yeah.
Sergei Krivokrasov never played for St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's like our go-to Puckdoku guy.
Yeah.
Vitaly Yakhmanev never played for
St. Louis. Yeah, he was on Nashville's original roster. He played with LA before.
Thanks, because I was thinking Vital Yeremena, the
That was a Rangers goaltender.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 times.
Good thing that Marc didn't call him Ricky Gervais.
I think I might have somebody for the Flyers
For the playoffs,
played.
I
For
used
the
Trent
playoff.
Platt, and that was like 0.1%.
I used Dmitry Yushkevich, which was 0.0.
That's a really good one.
That's a real good one, Anthony.
Try Gary Galley. I'm pretty sure Gary Galley made the requirements.
All right. Because I had another one. I'll go Gary Galley first. Let me try Gary Galley.
Puck,
Yeah,
I was actually good. I was gonna say Sean Pondine too. That's funny.
Gary Galley 0.0%.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
we're-
0
Gary
points.
We have to go Gary Galley.
Fucking A, man.
By the way, guys, I was ready to use Chris Terrian because Carl Dykhouse got me 0.0. Never mind.
All right, so just
Chris Terrian.
Nashville, and St. Louis.
Nashville St. Louis player.
This is a tough one.
Yeah. Let's see. Just trying to think of just old Jamie Pusher. No, I don't think he played for.
I don't think he played for Nashville.
No, he did not. I'm gonna go check those.
Cut. B-Rye is saying Turcotte. I don't. Did Turcotte play? I know Turcotte played for Nashville. He played for Nashville. Oshie never played for Nashville. I don't.
You know, Turcotte. I think Turcotte did play for St. Louis.
I think Turcotte would actually fit. I'm checking this now.
Phil,
He did.
he does. 0.4.
Yeah. Wow. Go there. Turcotte. Yeah, baby.
One of my favorite players.
That's a good one.
By the way, I watched Ranger fans. I watched Poise for Glory this week. So I was putting in some footage on Neil Smith. And yeah, they had a lot of the stuff on Derek Turcotte. A 3 uniqueness score. So it wasn't
go
as
to the
good.
go to the view stats. Go to the view stats.
Okay.
I want to see go to the Nashville St. Louis one. I'm just curious to see what some of the guys. I think that was the hardest one to come up with names.
Paul Correa.
Oh, all right, those are all obvious. Chris Mason, yeah.
Zach Sanford, Cliff Bonning, Michael
Ole
Dolzon.
Jokinen.
Derek
Ole Jokinen, not a lot of people remember.
Wow. Oh,
Michael Delzato.
Michael Delzaster.
Go
Michael
down to the less than
Delzaster.
ones.
All right. Marcel Gotch.
That's
Vladimir Orsog.
Orsog.
Scott Nickel.
That's a good
Vladimir
one.
Orsog, former Islander.
Yeah.
Oh,
Reed Simpson. See, this is where the tough guys. Anthony knows the tough guys better, but also Islander great Dave Scatcherd right there.
Steve Dubinsky.
Steve Dubinsky.
Steve Dubinsky. I remember him with Calgary and Chicago.
See, what I'm mildly surprised about is that people remember Paul Correa playing on the Blues. But
that was a pretty big pickup, and he went there right after the lockout ended.
Yeah, and Nashville was the big pickup when he went there.
Yeah.
So, what's the other one you guys were kind of wondering about?
I didn't care. I'm actually going to have to get going. I'm going to a friend's house, so.
All right. Well,
so I will see you guys later.
Phil, take it easy. I will actually start doing some of these giveaways right now. Guys, if you haven't gotten in for the Palmieri stuff, make sure that you have these in right now. Once again, guys, thank you very much. Because like I said, we're growing because of you guys, and we love doing this every single Wednesday. I'm editing 4 to 5 hours a day. I mean, I could be doing nothing or playing, finishing Tears of the Kingdom, but instead, this is why we do this. We love to make content for you guys. So, what was his Bister actually was what B-Rye was asking. And let me see if they still have that up there, because that would be great. That's still there. Okay, yeah. Go to Open summary. Okay. All right. It's not letting me get in there. Brad Isbister was 2%. That was what I had for Brad Isbister. That was it on that one. All right, let's get some of these down. And basically, if you're in this, I'm just going to make sure I have everybody in here. So, Jeremy, I'm going to put you in right now as well. And actually still had 2 more things we had to give away. So, all right. Ready to get some merchandise? Let's do this. So, how we doing, Steven? That Stanley Cup winner, Michael Delzato. Michael Delzato is on the Stanley Cup and Henrik Lundqvist isn't. There is no justice in the world. So, and yeah, Barrett Jackman was a very, very high name on there. All right, let's get some of these down. Hopefully we get Anthony back in a moment because he had the Igor Shesterkin shirt that we're going to be getting rid of. And also I'm also going to be wrapping off one of these. So then I'll get it made up for you. All right. So let's get that shared. The names. I know this is riveting just seeing me by myself right now going through this, guys, but trust me, I am still here. All right. So anybody, if you don't see your name on here, please text it or right now. Because that's what I have so far. And like I said, we got a bunch of good things right here. Oh yeah, Danny M saying Igor. And yeah. Yeah, and well, I actually am looking, Dave. I'm looking for a different design, a different style, but I did have this one made up. Yes, I am the captain. That's what I get for having one of these. But and if you want me to make up one with Justin on the back, that can happen as well. So there we go. There's Core saying Palmieri. You're in his core right now, not Rangers Central. This is for you. Also, that way you don't have to worry about people yelling at you for that. All right. Yeah, we'll get the BAH jersey out in a moment because I'm going to get that specially made. By the way, anybody, if your name is called, make sure you email at Big Apple Hockey 2021. And all right, let's do these 3 that are right behind me. And like I said, I got the Igor shirts. They're going to be right there. Go check one more time. Anybody? Rob is saying, add me. This is, yes. See, that Rangers Central, formerly Core Python, go check out his channel. He had 5 Rangers to sign on a PTO that was on there. Can we get one that says Justin, one that says Anthony, one that says Troy, and the other one that says Calvin? Yes, well, there definitely should be a Justin one. I should definitely sell a Justin one because I own it. I was thinking a white BAH jersey. You know what? If you get the jersey, I'll gladly make that up for you. The only thing I always ask guys is, if you get a hat or anything else, put it on Instagram. So here we go. And if your name is not on the list, make sure you check that once again. Just put that in there. An Anthony Lynn jersey. Ooh, that is interesting. Thank you, Steven. See, this is all stuff I could do on fan side or fans idea. I think the website is. So yeah, that looks like a good one. And the great thing is we can move the BAH logo around. I'm hoping that we end up getting tickets to do a tailgate for the outdoor game this year. That's what I'm also open on. Got a lot of ambitious plans this year, as well as opening up the new stuff. All right, we're going to go on the first Palmieri thing right now. Pete, you got it first. So I'm going to pull you out on that one. Yeah, I removed you. I got that. Pete, there you go. So yeah, no, David, we're not going to go through Fanatics. Don't worry about that one. I do love that. Oh, by the way, David, I would love to tell you what I think about Ahsoka, but I have no interest in watching it. Hopefully it's any good. I don't know. So Pete, I'll have to text you about that one. See what you're going to get first choice on that. Fortunately, I do know him. So let's go with the second one. This could be the hat. All right, there you go. Oh, it's Jason. All right, Jason, here we go. And all these names I'm going to put back in for the jersey, guys. You're all going to be eligible for the jersey. And let's do one more. And Andy, you got the last one. So, all right. Because one thing I was hoping to do today, but I wasn't able to get done. I actually do want to order more of these, and I can always, I'm going to give one of them away, have it specially made, sent out to you. So I'll add everybody in on that as well. So let's go with, let's do the Igor jersey. Everybody make sure you text in Igor. I'm pretty sure I'm just adding those names right back on the list. See, it sucks right here. You have, we don't have like, Wicked, who always comments in on us, but this will be for the Igor shirt. I believe we have it in, awesome, Pete, as I already see you on there. We have it in, I just got to go back for a second because we have the shirts. We have to delay it next week. Yeah, I have this in a 1 extra large and 1 large. There are a medium and a small. Sorry, there's 2 extra larges, 2 mediums, 2 smalls. So we're gonna be doing more of these shirts giveaways because like that Mika Zibanejad shirt that was there, but we're gonna do the Igor one right now. So let's get everybody in for Igor. If you can't see your name on there, everybody make sure David's on there. Matty B's on. Yeah. See, now we're talking, guys. Now we got everybody in. So I got Danny that's still right there. My right nut's still not on there, so I'll get you on there right now, Dave. So I'll try to make it so that way it's not you guys watching me type things. Jeremy should still be on there. That's a good try, Dave. Scarecrow the 4th. Hey, Scarecrow, how's it been? Because, guys, again, we love doing these because, after all, you're the reason why we do it. You're the reason why we do it. And we're growing. Hell, we got Neil Smith on the podcast last week. I am so happy about that. Can't say enough. Matty B, I got to add you on there. Craig, I got you on. That is also nice. Well, the bonus round would be pretty good. Davey, I'll make sure if you do win, because I know the last time you won something, it didn't get out to you quickly. All right. And is there anybody I am forgetting? See, something? I want to say I would love to do a Big Apple hockey tournament, but I haven't played EA in years. That's been one of those things that's been killing me. I actually do it just because I got to do a review of it for eventually for us for the channel. All right. Everybody see their names on there? Because let's do this. Will be the Igor Shesterkin shirts. We're gonna only do one of them. All right. That that was a little bit random, Pete, but you got two of them now. So, all right. I got to pull you. You know what? Hey, Pete, let me do somebody else for that one. All right. I'll put you back on for the other shirts. We'll make 5, or we'll do like 3. All right, Craig. Let's do you. Stop, Craig. You got the shirt. So I'm gonna put you guys back on again, Pete and you, because I want to do the jersey with you guys, and I guess we could always just do these, like I said, the gray ones. Okay, so Craig and Pete, you're our 2 winners right now, as well as we had everybody else. I'll just look up. All right. This is going to be, and we're going to do 3 of these. They're going to be for this style of shirt in the charcoal gray, and I'll make sure it's to whatever size you might need. So if you need a double X, don't worry. We'll get you one of these. All right. Nice. All right, Jeremy, you're our first one of these. Make sure you email me your address. See, this is why I don't want to fix it or rig it. All right. Thanks, Pete. Thanks. See, that's why we never fire Bettman. Hi, Mike. How's it going? If you want to get on the giveaway, make sure you say that right there. All right. Actually, I'll add him in there. It's I'll get him on the next one. So here we go, guys. Here's another one. Okay, I gotta do this again, guys. You're killing me. Let me do the jersey all over again. Oh, geez. Let's try this one again. Let's go. Because after all, to be fair, all right, Andy, here you go. You got one. You're gonna get one of these. I'll get a custom made up and sent out to you. And let's do one more. We got the 3 of these. Rob G. There you go. Rob, you didn't win the other one, right? All right, good. All right. Like I said, I'll get that made up. All right. For you guys, now let's do the jersey. If you guys have any comments or anything, Jeremy is not on there for the jersey. I do have Craig. Okay, so let's copy those. Let's get it over here. Okay. Let me check the names. BAH jersey. Yeah, we're going to be getting that in there. DP, I hope. Yeah, I would love to get Leach. Yeah, Andy, you got one of these. Big Apple hockey shirts. The only question, by the way, let me ask you on this. Do you think it should say Big Apple hockey on the top, or if it should say it on the bottom? But yeah, John, I got you on there. And I think Andy's wife might be cooler. Maybe she deserves the shirt in the end. All right. He meant Reggie Leach. I would love to get Reggie Leach on. I always say to you guys, the best guest is always the next one. So, all right, it's 8 o'clock. I got to get this in real quick. Uh-oh, DP. He better not win. All right. If Pete wins, I'm doing 2 rolls. Okay. So, Vladimir Vorobiev card. All right. Then I might add the BAH on the helmet. So I might do that. I mean, I love this one. So I'll get some of these. I'll start getting these made up and getting them out to you as soon as possible. After all, we got this. I love these hats. They're fantastic. Great for the golf course that I'll be wearing tomorrow with a couple of my friends. All right. Everybody that's in, they got their name on there. We got 30 of you in the chat and still can't believe 30 people in the chat. And yet nobody has been able to, or we only have, I think, like 17 names. This is all subscribers, everybody. You got to make sure you do this. All right, let's go. This will be for the jersey. And I'll have that made up. And I will also take suggestions on how to personalize it. John D. Lee. Woo! All right, awesome. John, actually, you messaged the Instagram, so I will make sure I just get you right now. So there you go. Big Apple Hockey on there, and I'll make sure it's so good. I only have to spend on one jersey. Because guys, the reason why we do this, keep spreading the word about us, keep getting our names out there, because we want to be your favorite hockey channel, and it's just what that's what we always want to do. But yes, hopefully, Steven, hopefully I'll get to see you. I think you're going to be in Boston in a few weeks. And don't worry, guys, we'll do more giveaways throughout the year. We still got more shirts to give away soon enough. And so yeah, so John, you are the hockey jersey. I will message you. I have you on Instagram. So that, all right. Well, you also know where I'm going to be most of the time. And you know what, Steven, maybe if I'm lucky enough, then you get to meet my hopefully potential my girlfriend. Yeah. I'd love to make an announcement soon enough, guys, because after all, as Silent Bob said in Clerks, there's a million fine women in the world. Not all of them make lasagna for you, and that's where I'm going to be going in about a few minutes to go have lasagna with the lovely Miss Maria Cosenza. So yeah, Mike, hockey season is awesome. Can't wait to get there. Yeah, email Jason, email me, and I'll get there. I didn't specify which one was which, so I'll let Pete make the first choice on which one on there. No, fortunately it is Maria, so that's it. And Danny, I thank you very much. Everybody, thank you, because let's get the song and play it on out. If your name was drawn, make sure you have the information sent out to me on the Big Apple Hockey email. But of course, and me every single week, my cousin Phil Antonucci plays this out a little bye-bye. So again, we got a lot of stuff going on right now. Neil Smith, and I'm trying to get as many tickets as possible, and trying to make an event out of it to go see the Islander Ranger outdoor game. And after all, I got a friend of mine who's a Jets season ticket holder, so hopefully that also helps. But it's that's one of those things. I have to go on the road in a matter of a month. Yeah, I'm always calling it lasagna. That's what the great part is. John, thank you very much. And Mike, yes, let's go Rangers. Pete needs to hit up a casino. Pete, you should. You were on a roll right there. Davey, great story about how we met. She came to my bar one night with a friend of hers, had a drink, and it was early. She talked about that she went to a Ranger game, and it happened to be the Chris Kreider 1-0 overtime win. And I just walked over and said, "Oh, you're a Ranger fan? Okay. This is my podcast that I do." I handed her one of these stickers, Big Apple Hockey, and And then she, by the way, all the winners are getting some stickers in there too, because I'm going to be sending them out to you. But then we exchanged numbers. A couple months later, she came back in. We hit it off in a great conversation, and that's been it. So just keep on going. And yes, Paniacs, we need more of you. Oh, that's awesome, Davey. I can't wait to send it out to you. Can't wait. I'll try to get it out as soon as possible. Especially, I think it was this style shirt that I had for you. So we'll get that. All right. Greg, I know you, and I know you were up there too. You were one of the first ones. So, guys, thank you very much. And again, thank everybody. Because again, this is why we do this. And we're growing every single day. We're going to be doing a lot more. And hopefully this will be a yearly tradition, especially in the summer. Do a little thank you. Thank all you guys for doing this, because that's why we do this. I mean, expansion hopefully is in the cards and on the way. So, guys, thank you very much. And we'll see you later.